This is it, what? Fettuccine with the team, we getting lit. What? Got it rolled up, now who really tryna hit one? Puff, puff, then we pass. Then we pass. Then we pass. This is it, what? Fettuccine with the team, we getting lit. What? Got it rolled up.
Uh-oh.
Woo, woo, woo.
Uh-oh.
Holla back, youngin'. Woo, woo.
What's going on? Look who it is.
Look who's back.
It's another Thursday, ladies and gentlemen. And you know what that means. It's time for the Herbal Tea Podcast. What's going on with you? So what's good? You all right?
Man, guess who's back? Guess who's back in the streets?
Who back?
Back in the streets.
Who back?
Guess who's back?
I know your feet hurt. Because you stay in the streets.
All the time.
Stay in the streets.
All the fucking time.
I mean, if you're going to be out there, you might as well go on and hit us with it. But it's your man, EarthTone.
And your man, the real Peasy.
And it's the Herbal Tea Podcast. What's going on? Episode what?
55.
55. Nickel. Double nickel on them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You ain't have your 55 jersey.
I know. I should have brought it back
the
for
wrong
him.
one.
It's all cool, though. It's cool because I wanted to get him a, you know what I mean, like a prelude.
Come on, a prelude?
You know what I'm saying? And then hit him with the boom, boom. They get the actual factual. And now they got a reason to dive in. But what we going to give it to him? You know we got to bring it to him live in effect.
You already know. We are here for another round of In These Streets. You already know. And I'm your street correspondent, the real Peasy. And it's just been going on crazy. I have a lot of shout outs to give.
A lot of shout outs.
But we're going to start with how we like to start it, with the needle drop.
Oh, you know I love the needle drop.
A couple tunes, big tune upon them. We want to throw at them. Let's start with Shay Diamond.
Okay, Shay.
Shay Diamond got a track, I Am America. You know what I'm saying?
We were just listening to that jam.
Yeah, just listen to that. It came out in 2020. But you know, the needle drop is not exclusive to what just came out last week.
Of course not.
It's, you know, all encompassing.
Universal.
Whenever the fuck the shit dropped, and we got some oldies on here, you'll see.
Because you know it ain't no such time as like, such thing as time anyway. Like
ain't
time
no
is like
right, it's a construct.
Yeah, exactly.
Period.
So
you know what I'm saying? I'm as old as I always been.
We just here.
Period. We just babies.
I mean,
all right. So Shay Diamond, for those that don't know, she is an artist out of Little Rock, Arkansas, a trans artist, and you know, signed to Asylum Records back in 2017.
Okay.
And, you know, she doing her thing.
Dope.
Got a couple jams like that out there. But I Am America. Check that out.
I Am America.
Got Lucas Silveira. He is another trans artist, and you know, they're based out of Brazil.
Ooh.
And I just happened to come across this on a couple of Pride playlists. Okay. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of them popping up everywhere, so I want to see who they got.
You know how that go.
And then do my deep dive and
Due diligence.
See if they really popping.
Heard you.
So Lucas Silveira has the track I Am Your Man. Came out in 2011.
Okay.
Now we got a new one, Lakia from Quality Control, newly signed. She is officially out.
Ink
You know
still
what I'm
wet.
saying? Ink still wet. You already know. Q Plus artist got a track with Lotto called Mind Your Business that samples that one hit wonder, Get Fucked Up, Get Fucked Up,
Get fucked up.
Get Fucked Up. You already
That's
know.
the jam.
We see you, Hitmaker. That's who produced that, right?
Hitmaker. I heard the tag, so it was a kid. Hitmaker. I'm like, oh boy.
I remember him. I'm not privy to his production work, but I do remember him as Young
Come
Berg.
on, Young Berg.
I remember him from those days.
Of course.
Anyway,
He's been around for a minute.
we got Cobra, you know, with a song called Good Puss. I just want to go down, get some good puss.
Hey.
You already know. Housey jam for you.
Okay.
We got another artist, Ian Isaiah.
Okay.
Ian Isaiah, you know, I know him from working a lot with Jungle Pussy. And this is a queer artist, you already know. He's done a couple of guest appearances on her track. He's got a song called Bedroom. And that shit is kind of next level for some R&B shit.
Really?
You know how we do, though. Like, we out here, like, changing the world and shit.
I love the Q plus community stepping up, doing they shit, getting deals, signing left and right, putting out crazy music. I love it. I love to see it.
Switching
and just
it up.
doing it. Doing
We love
them.
it. We love it because it's boring out here with these
Yeah,
straight
man, shake
niggas.
that shit up. Let's go.
For real. So shout out to Ian Isaiah.
Word.
And we got Baby Mother.
Baby mother.
Baby Mother.
Come on, baby mother.
She out here.
I love her.
With Eat Cherry Soda. You know what I'm saying? She just put out a mixtape earlier this year. I forgot what it was called, but it is definitely something you should check out. This song is one of the highlights from it.
Okay.
Then we got Jackie Shane from the 50s era, throwing it all the way back. Kind of came up on around Little Richard's time frame. She is known as one of the earliest publicly out trans people who was actually out performing.
Wow.
She's got a pretty interesting story. I suggest you go check her out, check her music out, and, you know, get into her life because she's lived a pretty interesting life considering, like, nobody was doing what she was doing.
Fam, like around that time?
She really did come through.
Okay.
We got a track that you might be familiar with. This is Queen Pen and Michelle Indegliocello. And this is said to be one of the earliest rap records that explicitly talked about same-sex attractions. Same-sex attractions.
Okay.
You already know. So it's a track called Girlfriend that remakes Michelle Indegliocello's Boyfriend. And I have never heard the song, but I heard you was familiar with that song.
Oh, I didn't know you never heard it.
I didn't know that a particular song, and I definitely didn't know the Queen Pen record.
Yeah.
But I know Michelle Indegliocello was one of those alternative chicks that you would see on BET a lot, like late at night. You know what I'm saying? She was one of those. She had that platform, and that's how, like, I guess I know her.
Yeah.
So-
But it originally came out, I forgot, it was sometime in the 90s, but she was one of those, like, artists, like a Macy Gray type that was just, she stood in her own lane. Like, nobody was really doing anything she was doing.
Look at that.
And she had that song, if that's your boyfriend, if that's your boyfriend, if that's your boyfriend, it wasn't last night.
Trying to throw that
Like,
on.
she threw in the whole, like, cynical, comedic twist to the, like, lyrics, and she played guitars and instruments and shit. Like, she was ill.
Yes.
But as soon as I heard that, because they sampled the actual song, the lyrics.
Right.
I was like, oh shit, that's hard. Is this a remake? I recognized it right away, so that's crazy.
There it is. And Queen Pen, so Queen Pen has had like a history of, you know, pretty much discussing openly her sexuality ever since she made this song. And it's kind of been the thing that, you know, a lot of people keep asking her. And, you know, considering the time it was, whether she is or isn't, because she still doesn't publicly
I was about to say, I didn't know Queen Pen was...
Yeah, she it's because she did this song, but she also never discloses whether she is straight or whether she is gay. And of course,
And I respect that as
this
well.
time frame, you know what I'm saying? I would definitely, you know, we understand what that is because listen, look how long it took for us to get here.
Absolutely.
So shout out, you know, Queen Pen Indegliocello. Status updates I got for y'all. You know what I'm saying? I just want to throw out there our wonderful set is featured in the New York Times.
Damn.
Listen.
That's hard.
It's kind of here.
That's hard.
We out here doing little things.
We gotta
little.
frame it, like get a cutout and frame it and like put it like...
Oh shit. Well, you already know it's widely searchable if you know my real name. Actually, you just search, you could search up either I.K.P. or whatever. It's out there. New York Times, like, that's kind of like important.
It did that.
It's important.
That's
so shout
hard.
out to them. I appreciate y'all throwing me up there. Shout out to SZA for coming out.
Come on, SZA.
You know what I'm saying? It's as part of the Q Plus community. Thank you, sister. Although you don't owe us any of this, but we're definitely grateful for the more visibility.
We love it.
For sure. Shout out to she did just celebrate the 5th year of Control. Her major label debut. She added some extra songs to that bitch. We're gonna check that out.
We have to check that out because that album was hard. Like,
sure.
she had some jams on there.
Shout out to the state of New York, who officially is adding the X gender marker for trans and non-binary people, so that you're able to have that on your license, official state license.
Dope.
This is happening on June 24th. So it's going to be official. You'll be able to everybody in that community will be able to have that designation on their official state license.
Dope. That's
Or
hard.
ID.
That's hard.
Period. You already know.
Okay.
Under the state's Gender Recognition Act. Shout out to Laverne Cox being the first trans woman to have a Barbie. Officially made.
Barbie, look at that.
Made by Mattel.
That's fly.
That's kind of, it's definitely a big look. Obviously considering all the things that go into that, we won't even go there. But happy recent birthday to her, Gemini Queen. And so the doll was a commemoration for her 50th birthday.
That's fly. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Word. And congrats. That's dope.
Big. Comes with 3 outfits and it costs about $40. Shout out to I.K.P just being on Legendary, girl. We know I.K.P is the cousin of Bugs Gutter and being on the Circle web series. So she definitely was on team House of Yamamoto, I think.
Okay.
On Legendary. So I saw her getting
I haven't seen the season yet. Word.
I've
Shout out
seen
to
a couple
that. That's
episodes.
huge.
That's very big, very big. You know what I'm saying? I saw a couple of episodes. You're ready, and she was being I.K.P. If anybody knows I.K.P for sure. So shout out to her.
Dope.
Shout out to Justine Lindsay.
Justine
Lindsay, first openly trans cheerleader for the NFL for the Carolina Panthers team, Top Cats. So the pussy's really out of the bag.
Okay.
Shout
Come
out to
on,
her.
cheerleaders, NFL cheerleaders.
You already know how we
Stepping it
doing.
up, diversifying. I like it.
Shout out to BET Plus hosting or, having B-Boy Blues, the movie.
Fam.
I heard somebody saw it already.
This is a big deal right here, first of all.
You know what I'm
Like,
saying?
that's a big deal because that's like a storied, like, long story, deep-rooted gay novel, particularly in the black gay space. B-Boy Blues has been around for a while. The author, Earl Hardy.
James Earl Hardy.
James Earl Hardy. I actually had the privilege of getting a sneak peek, early screening of the movie. This was back in like February. So they posted. I mean, it wasn't nothing special. They just posted. I followed them on IG. They posted it up there. If you're around, you want to take it, you just DM them real quick. You get the link. Boom, boom, boom. But it was dope. They screened it at the Magic Johnson Theater. We saw the whole movie. Then the cast was there for a Q&A right afterwards. So it was crazy.
Shout out. Your man was there.
Jussie was there. James was there.
Your other man.
Who my other man?
Your other man. Big Brian.
Oh, Big Brian was there. He got he out there with the cameo and all of that.
Shout out to Brian.
He had a whole moment in the movie.
So definitely gonna check that out, and I definitely would give my assessment of it next month for sure.
Okay. You gotta check it out.
I gotta check it out. I have not seen it yet, but I just want to make sure I give it to BET for that. Shout out to Queen Latifah. She is launching a campaign with Nova Nordisk. Excuse me, hold on.
Oh yeah, get a swig. You all right? You good over there? I don't want you crackling and hackling.
Hold on. Sponsored by this sip has been sponsored by
Tequila.
Shh, you already know. All right, Queen Latifah.
What she did? Come on, Jers.
She has a campaign with Novo Nordisk called "It's Bigger Than Me" because she is basically not beginning, but giving a larger platform to the conversation around obesity. She was, with her trainer, and her trainer one day, they was doing a health checkup, and this is where she was told by her trainer at that point that she was considered obese.
Wow.
So, taking that, she was saying basically it's not really about weight. It's really about a health thing. And you got to think about it like when a doctor tells you that, that's just one doctor visit. You have to take care of whatever your health is, or whatever condition it is, over time. So if you're trying to, lose weight, then, don't think of it as like, oh, my doctor said I'm fat. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of changing the conversation around obesity and not making it something to be ashamed of.
Yeah.
So, of course, I'm considered obese, and I've been told that by my doctors, and I always took it personally.
Wow.
Especially, going through, the time that they would tell me that. But, at the same time, this is exactly why, this needs to be talked about, because it's a journey. It's not about that one time. It's about, getting yourself to where you want to be with your weight and knowing about what's going on with your health. So shout out to Queen for that.
Wow, that's dope. That's crazy.
And she kind of dropped this nugget that, when she first started performing, she actually did a New Year's Eve event at a San Francisco gay club, and lo and behold, Tupac was popped up, just was giving it up in the whole situation.
Interesting.
Right. Isn't it? I always say, yo,
what a tidbit.
Tupac would have been by and out if he'd have survived.
I've always felt like that, though.
Listen, I've always respected just his openness like that. So he was one of the realest ones back then. You already know.
That's hard.
So Queen sharing that little tidbit of history there, very reaffirming. We appreciate that shit.
Okay.
Shout out to our man here, Isaiah Rashad.
Wow.
Who did a whole long form interview with one and only Joe Budden. You know what I'm saying? Did you happen to see some things there?
First of all, Jers, stand up.
Right.
You got Queen La, and you just gonna go right into Joe and think I ain't gonna, But yeah, I did see it actually. It was very interesting. A lot of info. A lot was not necessarily revealed, but this is pretty much the first time he's publicly and openly speaking about the situation. Speaking about the leaked videos.
Exactly.
Speaking about where his state was.
For sure.
He got to like some real points. Of course, you assume try to imagine what he could have been going through when it leaked, but he put it all out there like he had. You got to go watch it, but it was
definitely got to go watch it.
And I felt it interesting that he felt comfortable going and having that conversation with Joe Budden. It made sense. Yeah, it made sense because if you watch the Joe Budden podcast, like he makes it clear that he's like an ally and he gives it up. Like,
and
he
this
really
is
does.
I was going to ask you, have we invited him to the allyship of the show?
Well, he ain't really been putting out no music, so we ain't really had to,
Yeah, we had to talk about it.
It would have definitely, if he had something out that for us to review, he would have definitely been on that, like an ally today.
For sure.
He definitely qualified.
Shout out. So here's just a couple of things that I picked up. All right. I didn't know he had kids, first of all.
Yep.
4 kids.
Yep.
3 girls and 1 boy diagnosed with autism and shit.
Yep.
And this is the biggest one because he actually did try to commit suicide.
Yes.
As a result of all of this.
Yes.
And I just looking at the rest of the interview and his disposition and like kind of where he's coming from, he is out to his family but not out to the public. And he also gives me like somebody who doesn't realize that they're stars.
He says that though in the interview because that's why he was saying like why he was recording it, why he was doing what he was doing. He was kind of being reckless, but he didn't grasp the fact of his stardom. He didn't grasp the power of his stardom. He's thinking like, oh, I'm just a young nigga on TD.
Yeah.
Kendrick the man, everybody looking at him. I'm just in the shadow. Boom, boom, boom. I'm on a bench.
Which tells me that he might be a little naive.
He's young.
He is young, but not that young. He's 30.
Is he?
Yes. 31, I believe.
Okay.
So while that's not that young,
I didn't know that.
It's not that old, but it's not that young.
It's not that young,
but
I didn't realize he was
But
that
at the
old.
same time, people be on their journeys for whatever time. Like, we're still, like, us as black people, we're still trying to figure it out. Where like, and we was one that started it.
And not even necessarily him being young, but like him being like a rookie almost still in the industry and in the game.
Yeah. And then having to go through all of this. So I don't think, he was even ready.
No.
Of course he wasn't ready,
No.
but I just don't think he, had the capacity to grasp everything all at once.
Of course not.
And I even when, just for me, like even when I came out, I didn't have to come out to the world, but coming out to my parents was the scariest thing. So if I was on that level, doing what I love to do, I can only imagine how that would have shook everything for me. So it doesn't really matter like how old he is. I'm just saying like, I just appreciate him for, coming to terms with it, and that he's still here with us.
Absolutely.
After going through something like that, because that's not serious, or that's very serious business. And you already know, telling you from personal experience, I've been there. So,
absolutely.
So that's where it's at. So big up to Isaiah Rashad.
I can't wait to hear the new music, for real, for real.
We're all here for it. He gave Joe Budden the title and didn't tell the rest of the world.
Hyped too. He's hyped about it.
So
like, I can't wait.
That's a good sign. It's a good sign. And that is the streets. You already know.
Ooh.
That's where we at.
The streets is burning up.
Burning.
A lot of needle drops, a lot of topics, a lot of hot topics. Okay, well, once we go through all of that, it gets a little, the streets get a little hectic.
Hectic.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you want to go home, you want to wash the day off, get you a little glass of wine, maybe a Chardonnay, maybe a nice Merlot.
Need a hose down. I need a spa treatment, bitch.
After a hold down, you got to get the hose down. You see what I did there?
I see what you did there.
But we're going to go ahead and take it to another smoking session in the smoking section. Come on, man. I feel like these is, I miss these.
We haven't done this in a while.
Because they only round about, once a month.
The last time we did this, we didn't do this in May, did we?
Did we? We skipped it in May? What happened in May? Did I go on vacation?
I think you went on vacation.
Sometimes,
so we had, before that, we didn't do this since February. So we here.
You sure?
We didn't get to show the one in March.
Damn, so you always bringing back that up.
What you want me to do?
I wasn't going to say nothing, but then.
The truth is the truth.
Listen, it is what it is. You already see the high life in the back. We already got the blunt lit. We got a bowl pack. You know what it is. But every time we get out here, we got a little question. We get inquisitive. You know what I'm saying? Get a little buzz going. The THC get the floating around in the skull and all that. And I want to know some things.
What you want to know?
Who is Dennis Perrin?
Dennis Perrin.
Who is that?
Sherlock Tone in the house.
I mean, you
fill us in.
When I get back at it.
Right.
Well, it's June. In June, it's Pride Month.
Of course. Shout out to y'all.
Yeah. So, of course, because of such, we want to dig a little deeper into the relationship between this marijuana thing we love and, of course, the LGBTQ community. Right? So, of course, it's known back in the day, the 80s and the 90s, matter of fact, the HIV/AIDS epidemic, it was disproportionately affecting the queer community like crazy. It was nasty, right? Still, while illegal, marijuana was one of the most effective treatments to kind of, help with the AIDS and easing some of the effects.
Really?
Yeah. Even back then. So, now it's kind of still not federally legal. And statewide, it's legal.
Imagine.
Recreational, it's legal. Medical marijuana been legal for a while now, but even medical marijuana wasn't legal back then.
All money is legal.
Yeah, so people couldn't get it prescribed. Of course, they was getting it still, but, most of the people that were being affected was the queer community that was out in the streets already doing certain type of illegal activities. You know what I'm saying? Getting illegal drugs. And weed was one of the remedies that they was using to help, ease the nausea and a lot of other things. But because they couldn't get it legally, this sparked a breakout of a lot of activists fighting and petitioning for legal access to medical marijuana. So that kind of sparked a whole wave. So you got one activist in particular who stood out during this era, and that's who we got, my man Dennis.
Dennis Perrin.
Right? So he was pretty much a weed dealer back in the day.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? He was your weed man. He became an advocate who was based in San Fran in the 1970s. Started out smoking weed at 17, right? Served in Vietnam. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, veteran.
You know what I'm saying? Before he got discharged, he smuggled the 2 pounds back to the States with him And then he went ahead and went to college at the College of San Francisco, courtesy of the GI Bill, of course.
Okay, of course.
You know what I'm saying? So he already got the weed on deck. He got a free ride to college. On the side, I'm going to go ahead and sling these nickel bags. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to sling these dimes, sling these nickels to these college kids.
Enterprising.
Exactly. So he was out here with it. He ended up buying a building. He put like a grocery store on the bottom. He was slinging the trees from up top. It was kind of crazy. So he had a whole situation. He had such a close relationship with marijuana. Of course, he knew and was well aware of some of the medical attributes. And he, it hit even closer to home to him because his partner at the time was dying from AIDS. And he witnessed it firsthand how, consuming the marijuana helped him. It eased him. And it was, one of the most potent treatments that he had access to at the time. So in the midst of all of this, one night they in the crib, 1990. Right? They get the knock on the door. Boom. Shit getting raided.
Ooh.
Home gets raided. The police come in. They find 4 pounds of the ooey gooey sticky icky.
4 pounds?
4 pounds.
Not ounces.
No.
Pounds.
Sheesh. It's a lot of weed. It's a lot of weed. So automatically, Dennis is facing possession with the intent to sell. So it's looking ugly for him. It's looking scary. He might do a lot of time. It might not, he might not be in a position to do anything for anybody.
Wow.
But Jonathan, who was his lover, he actually ended up testifying that the weed was his. He was using it for, medicinal purposes, and the charges got dropped. But unfortunately, on the other side of that, 2 weeks later, Jonathan passed. But that was the spark for Dennis to go ahead and, make that his point to change the laws and decriminalize medical marijuana. That was the spark. You know what I'm saying? So he went through it was a crazy story to get there, but it kind of was the spark that he needed to kind of go ahead and push. And he ended up joining other activists to go ahead and help write the ballot initiative, Proposition P, which essentially asked California to add marijuana to the list of approved medicines to treat various illnesses, including AIDS, glaucoma, and cancer. So that passed with flying colors in 1991. And then he would eventually go on to help write Proposition 215, which passed in 1996, and that was pretty much the legalization of medical marijuana in California. So,
Since 96?
96, man.
Wow.
96, you could get in dispensaries. It was kind of crazy.
I had no idea it was that long ago.
Yeah. Medical marijuana been kind of a thing for a minute. It was just like you couldn't easily get now you could just go say, I got a headache or I got nausea or whatever. You could say anything and go get a card. It wasn't readily available back then. It wasn't really hip. It wasn't popular. It wasn't a thing. But yeah, them laws was getting passed back then. And surprisingly, he was actually opposed to recreational marijuana being passed because he thought it would be bad for the small farmers and then give, the government too much control over the industry. So he was kind of against it. He wanted to keep it like small, independent, mom and pop.
Right.
But of course, you see how that go once they get the profits. And then they still ain't rectifying it on the judicial side because they ain't getting the people out who was wrongfully given all of these crazy amounts of time for these pounds or people slinging these pounds now. It's kind of crazy. But Dennis actually passed in 2018, rest in peace, at the age of 71. He was born in the BX, believe it or not.
Okay.
In 1946. I think that's the same year my mom was born. It's crazy.
Okay.
But yeah, shout out to Dennis. He was the man out here, man. He got a lot of things popping off. Medical marijuana, it eventually sparked, because that led to recreational dispensaries, and you know how LA is now. So Dennis Perrin, he had a lot to do with that.
That's amazing. That's incredible. He was a veteran. He was a family. He was the
weed man.
Oh my God.
All of that, man.
Everything.
All of that.
That's a role mile and a half.
You know what I mean? And there it is right there. Boom, bang, wop. Wop, bang, boom. Bop, bada, bing, boom. Pow.
That boom, boom, pow. Them bitches jocking my style.
Yeah, man.
so 2008, you so 2008.
And on that note, we're going to end it like we always like to end it.
Pass that lighter. You know what I'm saying?
On a high note.
We getting lit. What? Got it rolled up. Now who really tryna hit one? Puff, puff, then we pass. Then we pass.